We're on a tight time budget between Stanley McFadden and the guest in the B block.
Big Daddy likes it tight.
Yeah. Are we going with the new intro this week?
We can. Do you want me to not do the top
No,
three?
do the one you
plunge.
Oh, you know what? Do the top three, and then I'll mute us. Do the top three, and then go into the new.
All right.
All right.
You ready? This week on the Media Virus Podcast, Wisconsin man flees to Uzbekistan after a smack from a kayak to get some Uzbekistani punani. You've heard of that old scam where you dress up like
Listen, man, I'm sorry. I rarely do this. I'm going to ask you to start over.
All right.
Because I wrote that and giggled my ass off, and I want to giggle my ass off at that line.
All right.
She's still giggling whatever she said. So.
Okay. Wet my whistle. This week on the Media Virus Podcast, Wisconsin man flees to Uzbekistan after a smack from a kayak to get some Why can't I get that out? This week on the Media Virus Podcast, Wisconsin man flees to Uzbekistan after a smack from a kayak to get some Uzbekistani punani. You've heard of that old scam where you dress up like a bear and damage your own luxury automobiles for the insurance money? Well, somebody finally got caught. And this week's episode is sponsored in part by the Thailand Tourism Bureau. And they want to remind you that there is nothing illegal about covering yourself and hotel room in your own excrement and then bursting through the floor. We'll be back in 2 and 2. Chuck Woolery won't.
Shut up and sit down.
It's the Media Virus Podcast. Now here's your infection team.
Broadcasting directly from our little deranged corner of the internet where the headlines are twisted, the jokes are questionable, and the hosts are definitely not qualified. This is the show where no topic is off limits, no punchline is too inappropriate, and no one leaves without learning, or at least catching something. Whether you're here for the chaos, the comedy, or just because you've made a series of poor life choices, welcome to the Media Virus Podcast. Let's point and laugh as the world is burning around us. Joining me today is we got Big Daddy in the A block, which is a special treat because it is the night before Thanksgiving. We got Big Daddy up in this joint, and because it is a Wednesday night, we've got the Professor Mike Litoris, the Reverend Professor Mike Litoris.
Good evening, everybody.
Up in this joint, and because she's married to me, Ricky's up in this joint.
Yeah.
So, how's everybody? Everybody's prepping for Thanksgiving. How's it going? We getting ready? Are we excited?
Yeah. Family, eat. I like to eat.
I'm getting ready to bring my favorite dish over for Thanksgiving, beef.
I wouldn't say I'm excited. I am not getting ready. I was supposed to make things today, and I did no such thing. And so tomorrow morning is going to be a hoot.
You know, it's holidays like this that kind of make you think I should fake my own death and go to Uzbekistan.
Is it?
I mean, you know, you got a bunch of shit to do. You got a whole bunch of people you got to talk to tomorrow. You know, a lot of people are facing life, facing the election. A lot of people aren't happy, about the people they have to talk to during Thanksgiving and things. Sometimes it's just easier. I mean,
to fake a death?
Yeah. Well,
tell us about it.
Well, good evening, TMVP listeners. We've got the Reverend Professor Mike Litoris in the news center with a wild story out of Wisconsin. Professor, what's the deal with this guy?
Matty, let's just say this guy traced the dairy state for some dodgy decisions. Meet Ryan Borgwart, The Houdini of Green Lake, who faked his own drowning, ditched the family, and paddled off into the sunset. Well, to Uzbekistan, of all places. Guess the Wisconsin winters really got to him.
Uzbekistan? That's a bold move. Who the fuck moves to Uzbekistan?
Bold, Matty? More like Bolshevik. Our guy Borgwart orchestrated this kayak caper in August, ditched his phone, stashed a bike, and rode off into the night like some Timu James Bond. Turns out, though, his real license to thrill came with an Uzbekistani with a tight punani, a mystery woman in Eastern Europe with big titties. Love knows no borders or morals, apparently.
Well, that explains Uzbekistan, but I wonder what Uzbekistani punani tastes like. It sounds like a dessert. Like, should I get the Uzbekistani punani or the chocolate lava twat?
Sheriff's deputies tracked him down when he started emailing through a Russian-speaking lady friend. Real smooth, right? Borgwart even sent a video, orange shirt, blank walls, looking like a hostage on Craigslist. The kicker? He admitted to the cops how he did it. Talk about spilling the vodka.
Fucking dumbass. He probably got catfished. That did not go like he wanted it to. Have they received any fingers in the mail?
Not yet, Matty. I don't think he bargained for having to put his fingers in the mail. The authorities are playing nice, tugging at his heartstrings to come home. Yeah. Translation: his wife and kids are stuck at home eating Wisconsin's best government cheese while he's over there 3 knuckles deep in Uzbekistani panties, dodging reality. It's a $35,000 taxpayer-funded ghost hunt. I'd say the real drowning here was in stupidity.
Professor, do you happen to know how much a kayak costs?
I don't know, but I think you can probably sell one in Uzbekistan for about 2.6 million som.
What the fuck is a som?
Much less than a penny.
Well, Reverend, you always deliver. Thanks for the laughs. Yeah, that was a funny.
Are you doing an impression?
Well, I was, just looking for a way to end the.
Oh, it sounded like somebody we know.
Me? Oh,
no. When you said something about a lot of laughs, you sounded like Bill. Staff writer Bill.
Staff writer Bill. It's a lot of laughs.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So if you fake your own death, how did people find out about it?
He admitted. He sent a video like, haha, I'm not dead or some shit. I don't know.
Sorry about that.
I think he said, hey, I'm going to go kayaking. And then he ditched the kayak somewhere and split.
But how did we find out that this happened?
Whoever he said, hey, I'm going to go kayaking to, eventually somebody came along and said, hey, have you seen Bob? And they're like, no, but the last time I did, he said he was going kayaking.
Oh, goodness. And then they probably chased a credit card or something.
Right. And then check out this video.
Oh my.
Well, no, the actual video is just he just says that he's alive and he's okay. That's all he says. Hang on, I'll pull it up.
Don't look for me.
I don't even think he went that far. He was just like, here, I'll share it. Uzbekistani punani. I added that.
I did notice a change in the copy. Yeah,
I thought that was funny.
There he is. That's the dude.
This is the whole video.
Ryan Borgwart.
It's approximately 10 a.m. by you guys. Back up. Let's see.
Well, that's the great news. Great news. We know that he's alive.
Oh, cool. We didn't hear anything.
Well, what he said is he said the day and time.
Uh-huh. Oh, that he was in his apartment.
He said he was in his apartment and everything's fine. He's A-okay. And I think maybe that was just a fuck you to his ex-wife to say, Like,
Well,
you can't collect the insurance money. I left you.
Well, also, he can be in another country all he wants. He still has to pay American taxes.
Well,
Yeah, but that means they have to like get a hold of you and get you to pay them.
but what did he do that they're looking for him? Now that they know he's alive, they should stop looking. They know he's alive. Right?
But they want to try and get him back here is the thing. So that they
Why?
He's not interested.
so that they can prosecute him.
For what?
For faking his death. He wasted resources, I imagine.
That
Yeah.
it's a crime to fake your death.
Oh, is it?
It
Yeah.
should not be a crime. That should be something you can do with impunity.
You can do at your leisure.
I mean, you can die. You can die with just whenever you want. So
I just feel like
Free and clear.
send him a bill for the municipal resources of the police and that, and let him be over there with his friends. Anyways, what else is happening in the news?
Dumpster fire.
Something about this generation that loves videotaping their crimes.
Right.
yeah, no, I've seen that several fucking times. There was we were just talking about some
Yeah.
bitch fucking. I think we talked about on the show. She was like shoplift with me, and she was like she was
Target.
she was like live streaming herself shoplifting.
Stupid
But you know, I've been seeing an ever increasing number of cyber trucks on the road.
Yeah.
They've built a lot of them.
Yeah. Well, you know, I heard. I did you hear that? Like raccoons are attacking cyber trucks.
Well, yeah, I think they're mistaking them for dumpsters.
I was
Trying to get
thinking.
into 'em.
Now, one of the reasons was that the appearance of a dumpster might be the attack. I would think that they see raccoons in the truck. It's reflective.
But, yeah, I mean, yeah. If
Yeah.
it,
It's like, hey, look at that fine ass raccoon. Let me get.
I don't know if it's an attempt to fuck it or attack it.
yo, that dude looks like me.
I mean, maybe
He,
because
he might be stuck in there. Oh, I got to get him out.
I remember in Philadelphia there was a possum, an opossum, and we right outside this one window we had a shelf that you would keep an air conditioner on, like a platform that you could put a large air conditioner on,
Right.
and then the air conditioner, and there was an opossum on top of the air conditioner just beating the shit out of my window. Just like fucking. And my ex-wife called me up and she's like, well, she was, my wife at the time, but she's my ex-wife now.
Right.
She called me up. She's freaking the fuck out. And I drove home and she's looking at it. She's terrified. I closed the shade. It stopped being reflective to the raccoon or to the opossum, and the opossum went away. and
Did you go back to work?
it was only that simple. But
I can imagine the look on your face as you do that, like full eye contact. Bitch. Bitch. All right, I'm going.
Were they old school pull down shades that snap back?
no, they were blinds.
Okay.
They
so
were you just
there's
no, but it was a little bit more difficult than just
more to it.
that. But like speaking of mauled vehicles, our own Reverend Professor Mike Litoris has a grisly tale from Los Angeles.
Matty, let me just say this story has pause for concern. California, where bears usually raid trash cans, not luxury vehicles. But in this case, the only wildlife here was a bunch of fraudsters in a furry suit.
A bear costume? You're pulling my tail.
No kidding, boo-boo. These wannabe Yogi Bears claimed $142,000 in damage to a Rolls-Royce and a couple of Mercedes. They even had video evidence of a bear pawing through the cars. Turns out the only thing wild about this was their imagination. A fish and wildlife biologist watched the footage and said, "Nope, that's Ted in a bear suit." And voila, Operation Bear Claw was born.
Well, what tipped the insurance company off?
Apparently, the bear had suspiciously human-like moves. No claw marks, just some fumbling around like they were late for a costume party. I bet they didn't even try to walk on all fours. Lazy fraudsters, Matty. Lazy.
So did the authorities find the costume?
Oh, they did. Raided the suspect's house, and there it was. Probably still smelling like bad decisions. I mean, come on. Who looks at a Rolls-Royce and thinks, you know what this needs? A bear mauling backstory.
How do you even pitch this idea to your friends?
Right? Hey, let's dress up as bears and destroy our own cars. That's got to be the dumbest plan since Sharknado 3. Now they're facing real claws. The long arm of the law.
That is something.
Whatever happened to just dressing up in bear suits and fucking?
Right?
Like normal people.
Not a furry.
Like normal people. You know, if you go back to episode, 10, 12 of Big Daddy's Just the Tips, you'll hear some wonderful tips for your furry fanatic fetishes.
Oh my.
So, yeah, I don't know where to go from there. But
hold on, real quick. I remember I was way too young watching this because like I lived for MTV since I was like 5 years old. But I was watching True Life. I am a furry when I was maybe 11 or 12, and I was like, "What on earth?" That's how I know what that is from True Life.
From True Life,
You
when
think
you
you
were 12.
know, but you have no idea. Carry on.
Hang on, I got a graphic for that. Wait,
You got a graphic for that?
I do. Boom.
That is not the graphic I thought you were going to show.
I know.
I didn't think
That was why it was so perfect that I didn't have it up yet. You know? But, I mean, what, like, okay. All right. Don't you think that you would, if you were going to pull this off, first of all, don't you think it would be cheaper just to sell the Mercedes and the Rolls-Royce? Like, I feel like that's
probably. And, you know, I mean, I would have used a better bear suit.
Or at least go, if you're going to pull this scam, let me see how a bear moves.
Yeah.
Let me buy some fake claws.
I mean, maybe go a little more grizzly than Teddy.
And not for nothing, but renting a bear costume is expensive now.
I feel like it would be cheaper to rent a real fucking bear.
Yeah, because now they want you to clean out the suit and disinfect it and remove all the jizz. It's just a hassle.
Full?
I mean, you could probably go get a fucking bear. How much is like one of those rifle charges of tranquilizer?
Oh my god. I feel like you can just buy a onesie. Shut up.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? I'm gonna shoot a bear.
You need a bear to pull this scam off because you need something that moves like a bear and causes damage like a bear.
The best way to
That's what got him caught.
The best way to achieve both of those goals in one fell swoop is a bear.
A bear. Yeah. So you need to go to the woods, tranquilize a bear, bring it back, put it in the car, and then give it something to wake it up. Can you imagine a bear on methamphetamine stuck in a Rolls-Royce?
No.
That would be fantastic.
Cocaine bear moving up in the world.
It's true. It's absolutely true.
Meth bear.
Meth bear.
Meth bear. I found a cheaper solution.
From rolling in the woods to rolling in a Royce.
From the makers of Cocaine Bear, it's Meth Bear.
bear in a Rolls-Royce.
The
And it's just a bear in a Rolls-Royce, and every time somebody tries to get in, it kills them. But then it cleans up.
I think the movie's tagline is Meth Bear, the 13th step.
I like it.
Because
You're absolutely right.
Conceivably, he went to Narconon for the coke addiction.
Right. But then he figured meth was a lot cheaper.
Meth is the 13th step.
That's right. Speaking of somebody who could probably use a 12-step program.
Or just 12 steps. I mean,
or a step. Good evening, listeners. We've got a doozy for you tonight. Joining me is the Reverend Professor Mike Litoris with a story that stinks. Literally. Professor, what's the poop?
Matty, let's just say this British tourist took the phrase dropping in way too seriously. Picture it, a 51-year-old man, stark naked, covered in poo, falling through the ceiling of a Thai internet cafe. It's like a comedy sketch gone horribly wrong.
Wait. Poo? Do you think that cost extra? That sounds expensive.
Oh, it's worse, Matty. Our inebriated hero painted his hotel room floor with the stuff before deciding gravity was optional. Then, thud. His legs crashed through the ceiling of a packed cafe. Gamers thought they were playing Call of Duty, but they ended up in Fall of Duty.
Dude, can you imagine, like, you're sitting in an internet cafe trying to discreetly masturbate and legs covered in shit just burst through the ceiling? I can't imagine not finishing loudly right then and there. How did the locals react?
Well, after recovering from the shock of the shit show, they called the cops. The guy's legs were dangling through the ceiling like a demented cuckoo clock. He cried for help while everyone downstairs was zipping up their flies.
Please tell me he's okay.
Miraculously, he only had minor injuries, though I imagine his pride is in critical condition. Police say nothing illegal went down, but the hotel's negotiating the cleaning bill. They'll need hazmat suits and therapy for the staff.
Mike, you've outdone yourself. Are there any final thoughts?
Just this, Matty. When you're vacationing in Thailand's Sin City, remember, what happens in the red light district stays there, unless you take a big, shitty flying leap through your hotel window.
That was a good one. I liked it. That's something you've really got to be there to fully appreciate, I feel. That's not something you can just hear about and go, you know what? I think I can identify with that experience. Because there's, like, first of all, like, the bursting through the initial shock.
Right. That's shocking enough that the ceiling opens up.
Right. It's right. And something falls through it, and the dust and debris and everything.
Absolutely.
And then you realize, oh, everything is covered in shit. And then you would probably think to yourself, of course it is. If I fell through the floor, I would probably shit myself too. Right? But then you find out that he was just painting it all over his room, covering himself in it.
That's the part I don't get.
Which in and of itself isn't weird, but you compound it with the falling through the ceiling. It's very weird.
Definitely very weird.
One of the things that I like to do after a long day of work, I like to come home, put some music on, grab some Chardonnay, and then just go to Browntown.
Speaking of shocking news,
Gross.
Fucking Chuck Woolery died.
Yeah, man. I didn't think that cat would ever go.
I mean, everybody does eventually, but ladies and gents, grab your buzzers and get ready for a final round of news Reverend Professor Mike Litoris is here with the scoop on a legend. What's the word, Professor?
Matty, the man who made 2 and 2 famous, has officially cashed in his final vow. Chuck Woolery, the smooth-talking game show slaying icon, has passed away at 83. And let me tell you, this story has more twists than a Scrabble board during family game night.
Chuck Woolery, dude, a man of love, letters, and apparently late in life, he'd be like right-wing rants. What's the old highlight reel looking like there, Mike?
Oh, it's a doozy. He kicked things off with Wheel of Fortune before Pat Sajak and Vanna White turned it into America's favorite word puzzle. Then he launched Love Connection, basically Tinder for boomers.
Wait a minute. Wheel of Fortune. Is that the game where they ripped off spinning wheel of luckiness or spinning circle of luckiness?
I think so. It's
a complete ripoff of our game.
They dumbed it down a bit.
Yeah, spinning circle of luckiness. But go ahead and finish that last sentence for me, Mike, would you?
Can you imagine singletons picking dates from VHS tapes?
And let's not forget his infamous 2 and 2. Iconic.
Absolutely. That little hand signal was as big as the prizes. Well, and maybe not quite as big as his ego. But Chuck wasn't all game shows and charm. Later in life, he pivoted to podcasting and conspiracy theories.
Can't blame a guy for doing that.
Who knew a guy who once matched lovebirds would end up ruffling so many feathers?
Well, sounds like quite the journey. Any personal favorites from his career for you there, Mike?
Matty, it has to be his favorite couple from Love Connection, a 91-year-old man and an 87-year-old woman. He said she wore so much. He said she wore so much makeup she looked like a stolen Corvette. Classic Chuck always had a way with words, even if some were a little off-road.
Any last words for that legend?
Just this, Matty. Chuck Woolery. He came, he saw, he spun. Rest in peace, you glorious wordsmith.
Yeah. I'm going to, he was, Love Connection was, you were homesick, and I think it was on after Price is Right.
Right.
Maybe not like the same channel, but if you channel surfed, it was.
You could find it.
Yeah, definitely. You could definitely find it. What are we looking at? Oh shit. We're running tight today.
Yep. And your closing read's coming.
It is. I want to take a minute and thank all the subscribers for their support, whether it's on TuneIn, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcast, or if you're just checking us out on the MediaVirus.com. Thank you. Please join us in the B block of the Media Virus podcast. That'll be just in a few short minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this has been the 212th A block on the Media Virus podcast.
Yeah.
As usual, it's brought to you by 302-46 Voice, our friends over at mysportsreports.com. They've got their Redbubble art, My Sports Art Shop at redbubble.com, and our sister show, Stepmoms Without Children. And like Matt said, we'll be back in the B block right after this.
Don't need to try it again. Never gonna like that taste in my mouth.